Hey guys, on today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about something that no one talks about, which is air compressor safety and some things you need to keep in mind. So if you're setting up your smoker shop for the first time, this video is especially for you, so watch this. Hey guys, Frank Cox here. I'm the barbecue pit engineer, and this is the Smokerbuilder YouTube channel. Welcome, and just in case, before I forget, because I get busy and start talking about all the techie stuff, and I know I'm going to forget about it. We have a private online community that we're getting ready to launch a whole bunch of pit building online courses and stuff in it. But the community itself, you can get on over there and subscribe for free. There's a link in the description. It's called Smokerbuilder.com. So anyway, I'd invite you personally to come over there and hang out with us behind the scenes where we talk in deeper detail about stuff like this. We do live Zoom calls and things like that. Anyway, enough of the shameless plug. Let's get down into it. It's freaking cold. What is today? January, I think the 18th or 17th or something, 2024. And we're here in the shop. This is the undeveloped portion of our shop. This is where the welding shop is moving to at some point. And I'll be honest with you, when I took over the lease on this building, I had no intentions of ownership ever. I had intended to be here for a while and leave and stuff like that. But things have just, dominoes keep falling into place, and here we are. I'm gonna buy this place, and I'm pretty excited about it. But the place comes with this compressor right here. And when we moved in, of course, we're trying to get into the place. It's expensive to get started, stuff like that. And we're trying to save as much money as possible, so we use what we got. And this compressor right here is in a terrible location. It is absolutely unsafe to use. And it's time to upgrade. Main reason we got to upgrade is, see how cold it is out here. Anytime you're working with compressed air, especially in an environment like this with temperature swings, there's always going to be moisture coming into that air. Like it's really, even though it's cold out here, there's a lot of moisture in the air outside. Vapor pressure always goes to the coldest place. So anyway, this compressed air is full, absolutely full of water. And so we try to do things like put a little water separator on there and drain it every so often. There's a drain on the bottom of the tank so that you can let the water out. As air is compressed, it superheats the air and it shoves it down in this tank. And when it gets in there, it starts to cool off. So all of that water, that water vapor that's trapped in the air is condensing and settling in the bottom. So what happens on an air compressor tank, if you've ever bought a used one and you went to build a smoker out of it, you'll notice that it's really, really rusty inside. And so just imagine everywhere there's a weld, that's the first place that gets attacked. The bottom of the tank where all the water sits and sloshes with the oil and stuff like that. All of them places, they all rust from the inside out, right? So I'm gonna show you a crafty repair on this. I don't know who did it, but here, come up here and lift, Joe. When we moved in, we heard air leaking, and we seen that this had been welded on. So the number one most important thing you never do, right, is weld on a certified vessel that's gonna have pressure in it. It doesn't matter how good you think you are, or it's just my shop or whatever, this thing literally could explode. It literally could. So what you want to do, when this thing was built, it was x-rayed and certified, and it's got a Clover stamp on the data plate. So number one, never repair a tank yourself if you're going to put pressure back in it, because now the rating on the tank is no good. You have no idea how good your weld is. All of that stuff is out the door. So this one had a repair done on it, and we know it's a bad repair because there's silicone all around it. The silicone around that weld is in theory going to keep the air from leaking out. Who knows, right? So completely unsafe. This should literally not be in use right now. Okay, well, what happened to us is, that's not really the reason we're replacing this thing. We had a come apart the other day here in the shop where we were trying to do some plasma cutting, and all of a sudden we heard something down here just blew. And we heard a lot of air coming out really fast. And this is about an 80-gallon compressor. It does about, I don't know, 15 to 20 CFM probably, just guessing. And so we heard all of that air coming out this pressure relief right here. Well, what happened is down here in this environment, remember we talked about moisture? That thing froze, the contacts on the compressor, on the pressure switch froze shut. What happens is we leave here, we turn the breaker off upstairs just in case this blows a hose overnight. There's tip number 2. Is that 3 or 2? I'm gonna say 3, because we had never weld on a vessel that's certified, that's intended to have pressure on it. Bad, bad, bad. Number 2, never purchase a vessel that has been welded on for the use of pressure unless the guy that welded it x-rayed and certified it. Okay, number 3, out here in this moist environment, right? It's really cold out here. You got all this water and things freeze shut. Oh, number 3 was shut your power off to your compressor every night before you go home. Because if you don't shut the power off, this thing could just blow all night and it'll just burn the motor up, right? So number 4, if it's in an environment like this that's not conditioned at all, be aware. Stuff like this pressure switch here can break. In this case, the pressure switch, since we shut the power off at night, it was in demand and the contacts were closed. So what's it gonna do? It's gonna freeze overnight because all the air is moist around it and it froze shut. So when we came in the morning, we turned the breaker on, the thing starts running, it just run, never shut off. And it just keeps running until that pressure relief blows. Number 4, 5, whatever I'm on. Okay, make sure that this pressure relief is maintained. In a big compressor like this, that's the only thing that is preventing that tank. 2 things. The pressure switch should be working and should be set at a safe pressure, i.e. 100, 120. I don't see a reason for a smoker shop to go above that, as long as you have the proper size pipe. And then also that pressure relief. That pressure relief needs to work. And there's a little D-ring thing on there. You can pull that once in a while and just make sure it pulls. You can bleed the air down, it's not gonna hurt nothing. Don't cycle it too much though, because the more you cycle it, it's gonna get wore out at some point and keep leaking. So anyway, the last thing I'm gonna give you as far as tips go is make sure that you drain this compressor down every so often, right? Okay, so that's it for this video right here. Oh, well, let me tell you, just if you don't drain this compressor down every so often, it's just gonna sit there and rust and you're gonna have a lot of water in your air. That water is gonna get carried through the entire system. Drop legs that don't get used, like in my shop, I've got a whole bunch of nipples sticking through the ceiling with caps on them. They don't get used very often. If for some reason you don't heat your shop, those will freeze and bust. You gotta go fix the pipes. The other thing is too, is that whenever that moisture is in the line like that and it's running through and you're using a plasma cutter, that water droplet, once it condenses and if it makes it through the plasma cutter to the tip, it'll just blow the kingdom come out of your tip and your plasma cutter. So anyway, guys, I hope you found that video useful. In the next video, I'm gonna kind of just give you a bird's eye view of what we're replacing this thing with. So stay tuned for the next video. In the meantime, go over to Smokerbuilder U, sign up, doesn't cost anything to join. And if you wanna take advantage of some of the online courses in there, you got my permission, they're for you. So we'll see you there.